Hello, YouTube, coming at you live from Old Ottawa South. My name is Jordan Gilman, and this is the inaugural edition of what I like to call the Jackets Union, where we specialize in everything CBJ and the NHL. Welcome. I'm very happy to have you all on board as we go through the. This is a very special day. It's New Year's Day. First of all, Happy New Year, everybody. We're going to have our season in review today, our half-season mark. We're around the 40-game mark of the season, so everyone has played their fair share of games in the season so far. And it's a good time to look back and see where we are and go through all the trials and tribulations so far that have occurred in this young season of ours. I'm a hockey lover. I'm a hockey fan. This is not just, it's been a music channel for a lot here, so it's a smooth transition. For those of you that don't know, I'm a diehard Blue Jacket fan, and this is my life too, besides the music. So I'm going to be getting into details here. This is not going to be a short video by any means, so strap in, get ready. So every single game day, we're going to be doing this. Today is a New Year's Day special. It's the inaugural segment, obviously, of Jackets Union. So we're going to do that. But every single game day, there's going to be an episode 2. So you can expect one tomorrow because we have a game tomorrow. So I'll try not to give anything away for that one, but I'm also going to be taking your questions via email. So if you have anything that you want to ask me about the NHL or CBJ or anything like that, you just send me your questions to solskill@live.com. So that's SOLSKILL at live.com. That's pretty basic. So yeah, just the link will be in the description there for my email. I'll write it down there so you can see it. Yeah, please subscribe to my channel for my music as well. There's more music videos coming for those musicians that are still out there waiting for it. It is happening. So I'm going to be at 1,000 covers by Canada Day, so get ready for that too. All right, that doesn't have anything to do with hockey, but I'm telling you anyway because that's going to be epic as well coming up this summer. So 2020 is a big year, and I really get excited when I think about the Jackets' future, because this season has been quite an up and down roller coaster. Like let's just see if we can encapsulate the whole season into last night's game, because last night's game was really epic, and I'm going to tell you about it. It was against the Florida Panthers, Nationwide Arena. And the big story about last night's game was Sergei Bobrovsky returning to Nationwide for the first time since signing with the Florida Panthers this summer. And, it's funny because the first couple of times that he held the puck, the crowd was booing him, and I appreciate that. But they did give him a standing ovation when they did the video tribute on the Titantron in the first period. During one of the TV commercials, they did a nice tribute for him, and they let the fans stand up and show their appreciation and all that. He's made some killer saves. He poured a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this organization, and he's one of my heroes. I've met Sergei Bobrovsky several times in person, and it's a pleasure and a privilege to see him every time. So he's a big part of our history, and I have so much respect for him. So I wish him nothing but the best, but obviously last night I wanted him to lose. And my wish came true. And, he didn't play a bad game, but he just ran into a guy that was on fire, apparently. So, but more on that later. So Sergei Bobrovsky makes his return to Columbus. Big story there. But also the other big story is because of the controversial ending to last game against the Blackhawks. If you missed it, there was a clock stoppage that wasn't correctly stopped, and it actually ended up costing us our goalie because we had to go to a shootout instead of winning the game in regulation like we should have. Tortorella was furious about it if you hadn't seen it. But needless to say, it was a controversy, and Korpisalo went down after the first round of the shootout. He tore his right meniscus. Like, first of all, I don't know if you know about the situation in Columbus right now, but we are already down. I'm looking at my list here. 3 defensemen and 7 forwards. So we're missing 10 regulars out of the lineup. And then we lose Korpisalo. And it's just, you think to yourself, are you fucking kidding me? We've been in Columbus Blue Jacket fans, if you're watching this, we've been down this road before. This is not news to us. We know about being completely decimated by injury. This is nothing new. Absolutely nothing new. So anyway, Corpy's down. I want to say that, first of all, Joonas Korpisalo is having an all-star season. He just got named as an all-star. First year starting goalie. He's an all-star. He had the most wins in the NHL since November 15th out of any goalie. And he went down. It's just not fair. He was playing like a god. He was pulling... He made us forget. He was like Sergei who? Like, he made us forget all about Sergei Bobrovsky because he was just so... He was playing unbelievably. He was on fire. We couldn't take him out of the net. We couldn't get Elvis a start. Corpy goes down to injury. Now, is it doom and gloom? I don't think so. Considering he's only out 4 to 6 weeks. So at the very, very worst, he could be out a couple months. Right? It depends on rehab. I'm pretty sure it's his first major injury. So how will he recover from that? He's very young. So I'm assuming that the recovery process will happen a little bit quicker than if someone was a little bit older, like Sergei Bobrovsky got injured at this point in his career. That's a little bit of a different story. He's closer to the 31-year-old mark like me. But Joonas Korpisalo is relatively young. He's still, I think, 24 or 25 or something like that. So anyway, Corpy is fine. He will heal. He will rehab. But this gives a chance for him to get a rest. And it gives a chance for somebody to come in and prove himself. And Elvis Merzlikins, I would never forget this. I was watching the pre-game videos yesterday before the Florida Panther game. And Merzlikins made it very clear to the media. He said, I'm going to talk to you now, and then I'm going to go away. I don't want you guys to talk to me. I want you to leave me alone while I go and do the number one goalie's job and live out my dream of being a number one goalie in the NHL. You should have seen him celebrate that win last night. We beat them 4-1, by the way. You should have seen Elvis Merzlikins' celebration. If you need to go online and find that, I have it on my Facebook page. You'll be able to find it under the Columbus Blue Jackets Facebook account. The celebration, watching him jump into Nick Foligno's arms, watching that celebration and watching him skate around the ice, just soaking it all in. And the personality that he brings to the locker room and the personality that he has is just so contagious. And if that guy gets on a roll, I feel like it's going to be a dangerous time for anyone playing against him. Elvis has got to feel like he's on top of the world right now. This guy came in having lost 8 starts. He started 8 games. He was 0-4-4. He didn't even have a win yet. This was his first ever NHL win on New Year's Eve. And it took him that long to get there, but he got it. And I'm so happy for him. I just want to see him do big things. And he's respecting the job. He's saying, media, stay away from me. He wants to focus. He knows that this is his opportunity to steal Corpy's job. Because if Corpy comes back and Elvis is on this huge tear, we're not just going to pull Elvis. It's not going to be as simple as that, right? So I'm getting way ahead of myself here. We don't know what's going to happen, right? Dropping like flies. If we lose Elvis too, oh, God forbid. Whew. Like, you know what I mean? These injuries are absolutely insane. But as I said, we have 3 defensemen out. Ryan Murray, who's always been a staple on our blue line. Marcus Nudavara, who had a lot to prove this year. And Andrew Peak, who came up from the AHL and was playing really, really well until I think it's a broken hand as far as I'm concerned. As far as I know, 7 forwards out of the lineup. This is ridiculous. We're missing Emil Bemstrom, the rookie, who was playing on the top line with Milano and PLD when he went down. Cam Atkinson, don't have to tell you who he is. He's a staple. 41 goals last year. He was just starting to heat up in the goal category, too. He had a slow start to the season, but he was starting to put the pucks in, and then he got hurt. Oliver Bjorkstrand was putting pucks in. He's our second highest goal scorer with 12. He's down. These guys aren't going to be back so very, very quickly. We have to take it a game at a time here. Brandon Dubinsky went out before the season started. He had a lot to prove at the late stages of his career under Tortorella. He wanted to be a solid fourth liner regular, and he can't even have that chance this year. Sonny Milano goes down after a brutal shot into the boards. Sonny Milano is out. That's huge for us. He's one of our biggest playmakers. He was the strongest offensive guy we had so far this season. Was, I would say, between Pierre-Luc Dubois and Sonny Milano. Sonny Milano has really stepped it up. And it's a shame that he went down when he did, because I really wanted to see Sonny Milano. I really wanted to see how many goals he'd put in, not only, but I wanted to see him make plays. And to see him out right now is really frustrating. Cole Sherwood, another young guy, got injured earlier in the year, still not back. And Josh Anderson. I mean, this might be the most underrated injury here. We got a guy who's a power forward who is playing on a line with Boone Jenner and Nick Foligno, and Boone Jenner's having a season too. Unbelievable. Foligno's starting to pick up his game now, and Josh was he only had one goal. He had one goal in like 30 games. We were waiting for him to explode. Maybe this injury will do something to him. You know, put that fire in his ass. I don't know what's going to happen. But let me tell you right now. I just named off all those injuries for you. And what this shows us is the depth of this organization. We have the ability to bring people up. Okay? We got guys like, you know, Texier stepping up. We got guys like Eric Robinson stepping up. We got Al McInnes' son, Ryan, on the fourth line with Riley Nash, and a guy named Jacob Lilia, who came into the league as a rookie and joined us at a training camp, along with Emil Bemstrom, and he's on my hat right there. And, you know, you've got Kevin Stenlin coming in and playing like he's a first liner, like blocking shots, chipping in. Everyone's putting in their effort. This is a noticeable thing. When I'm watching the Blue Jackets play, these young guns are all chipping in and they're all playing the right way, and they've bought into this team concept. And they're all playing to their strengths, but they're also contributing where they need to contribute otherwise. They're putting in the labor, and they're reaping the rewards. I mean, we have an 11-game point streak here in Columbus. We're 7-0-4 in our last 11. And it looks really good. And I'm looking at the upcoming schedule right now, and I see Boston tomorrow, and I'm like, you know what? That's going to be a tough game at TD Garden, but we'll be fine. We stick to our game. We've got, you know, now I would say Elvis is on top of the world. He's ready to face Boston in nets. I mean, Elvis Merzlikins, what can you say? I mean, you know, I also need to acknowledge last night, because he was the first star of the game, the fact that Zach Werenski has scored 11 goals already is mind-blowing. We're not even halfway through the year, and he's on pace to score like 23, 24 goals on the blue line. It's just, it doesn't get done very often, and he just scored a hat trick last night on Sergei Bobrovsky. 3 shots from the same side of the ice, sniped, all 3, past Sergei Bobrovsky. Unbelievable. Zach, you know, I've got his autograph on the back wall here. You can't, maybe you can see it if I turn there. See the number 8 there? There's an autograph on there. Zach is having an incredible year. I wish him nothing but the best. And, my God, you know, a hat trick. Third defenseman in CBJ history to do that. It was Darren Quint in 2001 and Brian Berard in 2006. Those are the only 2 other guys that have done it for the Blue Jackets. And Zach did it, and I'm so happy for him. So, you know, all I can say is keep playing strong, guys. Like, we're getting secondary scoring everywhere. These guys are stepping up, and they're scoring goals. I got a guy like Nathan Gerby coming up from the AHL, a veteran guy, and putting in a puck. Like, you know, this guy, like, he's playing like he's been on the team the whole year. They're all playing like they've made the team from the beginning, and that we've all been in this together. Like, you can see everyone's just bought into the system. It's so good. It's so good, and you got to give credit to John Tortorella for that, too. I mean, look at the coaching he's put in. I mean, you know, this is a guy that you could have made a case 20 games into the season, oh, maybe he's going to lose his job. Look what happened. You know? No way. I mean, this guy, first of all, this guy guided Columbus to sweep Tampa Bay last year, which was a whole history-making feat in and of itself. So, anyway, shuffling lines, Torts is shuffling lines every single day. We have 28 different starting players this year. It's unbelievable the amount of injuries that can build up on you. And I'm just going to look at the standings because I want to see, you know, this 11-game point streak has really put a dent in the standings, and we're now back to a position where we're going, hey, we're knocking on the playoff door now, and that's pretty friggin' cool. Because we were not supposed to do good this year. We're not supposed to be anywhere near the hunt, losing those big name players. We're supposed to be, but it's not happening. I also need to acknowledge Jonas Corposalo and Seth Jones for becoming All-Stars. Seth Jones is a repeat All-Star. I mean, he's just an unbelievable defenseman, but Jonas Korpisalo in his first season as a starter. If he makes a quick enough recovery, he could potentially start for the All-Star game, but I don't think he's going to make it. Having said that, I probably wouldn't want him to play in the All-Star game anyway, knowing his injury now. It would probably be better if he just rested up and made sure that he was ready to contribute to the Blue Jackets and not worry about, yeah, it's a shame that you have to miss your first All-Star appearance, but just being recognized is an honor, and Corby should be very proud of himself for, a guy that was throwing tantrums in November. I mean, this guy has now lit the league on fire, and it's unbelievable to see. We're going to look at some goalie stats briefly, too, before I sign off here today. But I'm looking at the Eastern standings, and I see that the Metropolitan top three is the same as it always usually is. It's the Capitals, it's the Penguins, and it's the Islanders. I mean, these are three perennial powerhouses in the division, and they're the teams that we're essentially worried about because we need to, push up and find their spots. We're not far back of them now. That's the thing with this whole stretch here. So I'm looking at, Washington has 59 points. The Islanders at 53, Pittsburgh at 52, Carolina's at 50, and Philadelphia at 49. Those are your two wildcard teams. They're the last two spots in the playoffs. Columbus is at 44 points here. We're 5 points back. This is not something that is anywhere close to out of reach. We have 44 points. We're sitting there knocking at the door. All we need to do is just keep this up. This is the halfway point of the year. We've got a California road trip coming up. I'm looking at the schedule. LA, Anaheim, San Jose, Vegas. It's a spread out, but it's a spread out enough schedule that we can actually put a dent in it. A couple days after the road trip, there's a 3-game homestand with a couple days after a back-to-back. The All-Star break, a 5-day bye week at the end of January. I mean, let's look at this for real, right? There is a mandatory 5-day break for every NHL team, and ours is going to happen at the exact best time, January 27th to 31st. So if we aim for that, we've got to get through the next, I'm counting 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games. We have a stretch of 11 games coming up in January that we need to do well at. We can't play 500 hockey. We've got to be better than 500 hockey. We got 11 games before that 5-day break. And really, with the All-Star game weekend break, it's a 9-day break. So that's going to be really huge. And the last game is the 22nd of January before we come back on February 1st. So in that little 10-day, 9-day slot there, we need to get some players back. And that's going to be a really big key for us moving forward. And then deciding who comes into the lineup, who comes out. Because, it's some healthy competition going on in the lineup here. And we're getting a look at a lot of young, fresh faces. And it's a really exciting time to be a Columbus Blue Jacket right now. And that's why I'm rambling on. And that's why this whole Jackets Union segment exists. Because this is my outlet. And you guys can understand now the level of fandom that you are witnessing. And you can understand that it's everything to me. So I thank you all for listening to my rambling. The Columbus Blue Jackets are set to visit TD Garden tomorrow to take on the Boston Bruins. I'll have a game day preview for that tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. You can always email your questions in at solskill@live.com. That's SOLSKILL @live.com. If you have any questions about the NHL or CBJ or anything you want to ask me, I am signing off. I hope you all have a wonderful and healthy, happy, and prosperous new year. I needed to make sure I said that right. And I really hope nothing but the best for everybody. I hope everyone has a wicked day today, enjoys their day off. And my name's Jordan Gilman, and I'm proud to march on. Let's go CBJ every day.